know how to start.
We're back.
Halfway.
Halfway back?
Well, yeah. I feel a little out of my body. I've gone to Walmart twice.
Okay.
And that's been so weird because it just doesn't feel real.
Okay.
Yeah,
Explain.
I don't know.
Like what? Like,
because whenever I went to Walmart, my husband stayed here with our son. And so it just felt weird to not have him.
should we address that actually?
Yeah.
I don't know if they even know.
Right. They don't. Well, welcome back to Feelings and F-Bombs. I'm Madeline.
I'm Alexis.
And if you're new around here, I was pregnant. As you can see, I'm no longer pregnant. He's here now.
In the podcast that I just finished editing, you were like, it's 4:20 when this is released. This is actually his due date. And so hopefully I'm in the whatever. And so I put like a little asterisk that was like, it is not 4:20.
Yeah.
And he is already born.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot's happened. He was supposed to come on 4:20. He did not. So Dakota was born on April 9th. That's why I feel so out of body, just even like doing this and like not having my baby in my arms. Because my husband, he was able to take off a little bit, but he had to skedaddle back to work. And I'm not working right now. I'm on my maternity leave. Yeah, it's just me and Dakota all day chilling at the house. Chilling. Yeah, we're just laid back, having a couple margaritas, having our feet up.
Yeah.
No problems ever.
It's like a vacation, right? Isn't
Right.
that what people say?
Just like a vacation. I've gotten so much done around my house.
So much rest, I'm sure.
So
Real
much
some
rest.
R&R.
Yeah, you know, I've picked up a couple new hobbies too.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, my poor baby Dakota is overtired currently. So if you're not a parent, or if you're like me and you just figured out what the fuck that means as of 2 days ago, it's whenever your baby does not fall asleep within like that hour and a half. So babies are only supposed to be up and awake for 30 minutes to 90 minutes. And once they stay awake for longer than 90 minutes, their cortisol levels, their stress hormones rise and their adrenaline kicks in. So then their body is telling them, oh, you're in survival mode, you need to stay up. And so then they will stay up for like hours whenever they're supposed to be napping, and then they're fussy, and it's just like really hard to get them to go down. However, thanks to TikTok University, this TikTok said that if you hold your baby for like 5 minutes walking around, dark room, dim light, noise machine, whatever, and then you just sit with them for 8 minutes, that's supposed to help like lower their cortisol. It's supposed to help them regulate. That shit fucking worked so good last night. It was literally our saving grace because he had not had like a normal 2-hour, 3-hour stint of sleep. And last night he finally did. Today it was also, once it like started getting bright again outside, he wants to be up whenever the sun's up. But now that it's going dark, I think that's also why he's able to sleep. So I had to call in my dad for backup. So I was like, I just need someone to hold him so I can set this up, so I can curl my hair. I wanted to look cute for y'all today because, again, been in the slums the past 5 weeks.
Yeah, I think that people who don't have a child or haven't had to like be around someone with a newborn really like no, you don't get it.
No.
Because I remember going to our friend Becca's house in the middle of like my big breakup. So I was going through it, and simultaneously she was going through it with postpartum. So like different going through it.
Yeah.
But we both just like couch potatoed at her house for the weekend with her baby. And so I remember sitting there and being like, we're not doing anything, and yet we have no free time like to do anything. Obviously not doing anything is keeping a baby alive, which is a literal full-time job. And you don't get it unless you're really there. Yeah. Because it feels like it should be so easy. Like they sleep a lot, right? Absolutely no fucking time. It's great. It's actually mind-boggling.
Yeah. And I will say the day that I texted you that I was like, hey, I want to pod this Friday, I texted you on a Wednesday because that day it was such a good day.
Yeah.
He was going down for his naps. He sleeps in his nursery for his naps. I literally have the whole house to myself. Oh. I get to do the dishes. I get to fold laundry. I get to tidy things up. I get to put my eye cream on. Like, I get to brush my hair and brush my teeth. Yeah. I'm so excited whenever he goes down for these naps. And so Wednesday, it was just like a perfect day. He went down for every single nap. I started a puzzle. I don't know if you saw the puzzle out there, but started a puzzle, put literally 3 pieces together. Finally started listening to the audiobook for book club that we have tomorrow. Still not done with it. We'll see if I finish it.
Nobody would blame you because you just had a baby. And thankfully, most of the people in our book club also have babies.
Yes.
So if you DNF, you either need a legit reason.
Yeah.
Or like I think we gave one freebie a year.
Yeah.
Or like a legit reason. Like this book club is business.
It is cutthroat.
It really is.
Let
like,
me tell you.
People have been cut out of the book club.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually really prestigious.
Very, very prestigious. I am only in the book club, not because I'm literate at all, but because I am the comedy hire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am only in the book club.
Because you are literally an author.
Oh, no, not that.
Yes.
But because I had a personal invitation. So you can only
right.
get into this. This is why it's so prestigious.
That's right.
I think I was there for the first one, but I wasn't in the initial like formation of the book club.
Funny enough, we actually had a secret meeting before you came on.
No, you fucking didn't.
And we were like, okay, we're going to suss it out. And then we're going to take a vote.
Oh my God, y'all took a vote?
No. We just, you're
But
cool.
You said that y'all were going to take a vote. Oh, okay. I was like, what was said?
No.
Who voted what?
Honestly, I'm surprised that we didn't. But yes, all that to say, a lot of us now have kids in the book club.
Yeah, and now like it is a really good place to have community as women, like especially I'm sure women with children, because there's not just like, you don't hopefully feel like you're doing it alone. You can ask questions to them and like bring your kids somewhere without it being like a shameful thing or like stress if, you know, your kid's acting up. It's like everybody knows what's up.
It's been the best thing, literally. Like, I'm so glad that we have so many parent vets in the group, because I have been asking a million questions. And then we have Christy, who's going to be a soon-to-be parent.
Probably by the time this is dropped, she'll have.
You're going to have a kid.
Literally. I'm not pregnant, by the way.
No.
I did have a scare.
Oh,
yeah.
Do you want to talk about it? Right here in the privacy of the podcast.
Long story short, my Oura ring like helps track my cycle.
Oh, fuck.
I didn't have it charged because I charge it when I take a shower. My shower that I use wasn't in use, so I went to what?
Oh my God, my imagination. I just imagine, like, I know you have a second restroom, but I'm just imagining you like out back hosing off. Like,
I actually just didn't shower the whole time. So I had intercourse thinking that it had been updated.
So clinical.
It was. This is way too TMI, but because I track my cycle, ejaculation into the vaginal canal occurs during intercourse.
Yeah.
During times where I'm not ovulating.
Oh, yeah.
And then whenever I am ovulating, that is when we acquire the pull-out method.
Right.
I was trying to be clinical about it, but I couldn't think of all the words. We did not do the pull-out method because I thought that I was not ovulating. To come to find out that I was, so I had to like do the whole thing where I anxiously awaited, you know, all the time. And I really had an ego death and processing of like what pregnancy would truly be like and like all of the things.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because it obviously, you know, it's a huge life decision.
Huge.
And it wouldn't have been a decision for me. It would have been like, oh shit, let's make it work. Let's make it happen. I ended up not being pregnant. And there was like the whole thing of like, thank fuck. And then also like,
kind of mourning.
Yeah, like that's actually really sad. Anyways, but this podcast wasn't about me. It's supposed to be about you.
It's about pregnancy, so we're fine. We're still on track. Yeah, so I guess should I just like tell my birth story?
I would like to know.
Okay, because it did not go as planned. And I was actually just watching our latest episode about grieving Titan, so go and check that episode out. That way you can get more context, where I'm talking about my perceived recovery, what our nighttime routine is going to look like. Literally nothing. None of what I said in that episode has been my reality.
It's all a lie.
It's
you just
all a lie. Yeah, so well, it's not super unrealistic. If I would have had a vaginal birth, but like the nighttime routine, no, that's the shit that I saw on TikTok where I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this. No, not realistic at all. We have our own groove, and it doesn't look like TikTok, but it works for us, and we're sleeping. As I mentioned, my due date was 4/20. He came on 4/9. Well, also, he was breached. So on April 1st, we had to do an ECV, which is whenever they try to manually turn your baby outside of your stomach. If you don't have drugs, it is extremely painful, but I had a spinal tap, so I was paralyzed from the rib cage down, but I'm awake for the whole thing. So we go in April 1st. My doctor has told us that because of my size, there was a large possibility that they would either accidentally break my water while trying to do it, or that if it was successful and they were able to get him flipped, then my body would most likely immediately go into labor. He was very confident that we were having him on April 1st. So my husband and I were like preparing, okay, we're going to go in and like, he's probably going to be here. Funny enough, I have one sibling. It is a brother. It is a male. I don't know why I gave that information, but I have a sibling, and he was born on April 1st.
He does have a penis.
He does have a penis. And I know his wife watches, so she can confirm as well.
I don't know why.
It has been questioned my whole life, but I think...
Wow, slash whatever.
Yeah, slash X132. It is burned in my brain.
I don't know why we're roasting your brother randomly.
Why not? Fuck that guy. No, I'm kidding. Kidding. Love you, Bubba. So I like jokingly was like, oh, wouldn't it be so funny if like Dakota came so early? He was born on April 1st. And I'm like, that would be my karma. For the hospital that we're at, whenever you go in for an ECV, you go into the same place where the people go for C-sections. It's one room with curtains, and there's 3 beds. So this is where if you're getting a C-section, you go in, they prep you, they get the OR ready, they take you to the OR, you have your C-section, they bring you back to that recovery room, then you go to your postpartum room. Well, for an ECV, it's like almost the exact same, except obviously like I never go to an OR, but they have to take you there in the event that you have to have an emergency C-section if something doesn't go right, or if you go into labor immediately, then like you go to the vaginal delivery room.
The vaginal room? Okay.
Rather than the OR. It was all the same steps of a C-section. Mm-hmm. And that'll make sense in a second why I'm adding that context. So we go in, and it's also a teaching hospital. Like 4 students had come into our little bay, and they were like, hey, can we watch your procedure? I'm like, sure, whatever, that's fine. They come in. I ended up doing my spinal tap in the bay room. Typically, you would like go to the OR to get your spinal tap and then come back. But they were like, like the anesthesiologist was like, no, it's fine. Like, we'll just do it in there. Well, whenever you're getting a spinal tap and you're getting, I guess, any type of anesthesia, it is like the team comes with you. And so this is one little bay area. So it's probably from this, like from the cushion to the cushion is the size of the little curtain thing. For the anesthesiologist team, it is like 7 people. Then my doctor and another doctor are there because it's a 2-person procedure. And then they each have their nurses. So it's like 2 and 2 more nurses. And then I have the 4 med students.
Oh my God.
And then also just like, it looked like there were some tag-alongs too. Because I guess, I don't know if like ECVs happen very often, but maybe it was just a day where none of these people had seen one. Organically, there would have already been like 10 to 12 people, but there was literally 20 people crammed in this little bay watching this thing happen. And then of course, Devin's there, my husband. So they do the ECV, or they're trying, and Devin's watching, he's above me, and he's holding me. I'm like lying flat, you know, and they're monitoring baby's heart rate, all the things. And Devin says, like, it looks wild. And I watched a couple on TikTok, and like the women look pretty chill for the most part. But it looks like it would be painful. Again, if you don't have medication, I'm sure it is. Because you can see the head, you can see the butt.
Oh.
And my doctor said, he kept saying, he was like, well, since you're so skinny, like we can already, whenever I like laid flat down, you could see exactly where his head and where his butt were. Yeah. So they tried to turn him, and he kept getting stuck right here. And so it's pretty common for a baby's heart rate to drop during this time. But if it drops for too long, that's whenever it can get like a little scary. They tried to turn him. He got stuck. And so his heart rate drops, and they say, okay, once it comes back up, we're going to try turning him the other way. Like, we don't know what he's getting stuck on, but he's getting stuck. My doctor thought like it was maybe my placenta or maybe like umbilical cord, whatever. So his heart rate drops, but his heart rate does not come back up for like 3 minutes. And these were like the longest 3 minutes of my life. And after that, it was just like you could tell something was wrong because everyone in that bay got so quiet. So he was able to like see the heartbeat in the ultrasound. But whenever he saw that it wasn't coming back up, they were like, okay, put the monitor back on him. And it still wasn't coming back up. But then obviously like he's alive. So the heart rate came back up, but it was just like the doctor got very serious. Everyone else, like nobody was smiling. Everyone was just like their eyes were on the monitor, on the heart rate thing. And then he was like, you know what, we're not going to try anymore. That was, I think we pushed it a little bit too far with him. So you get to have a C-section now. So we scheduled the C-section for April 15th, but then after you have the ECV, you have to stay there until your spinal tap is wore off, which it lasts 6 hours, but then they also want to monitor baby. Okay, so at this point, we thought he was coming April 1st. Didn't happen. We are now planning that he's going to come April 15th. Well, while my spinal tap is wearing off and they're monitoring him, one of the nurses like comes rushing in and she was like, "Do you not feel that?" I was like, "What do you mean, feel what?" She was like, "You're having contractions. Like you're having regular contractions that are 3 minutes apart. So whenever they're 3 minutes apart, that's whenever they're considered like active labor." And I was like, "No, I don't feel anything." Like, I guess like I could move my legs, but it wasn't, the spinal tap wasn't wore off enough. So then it did wear off, and then I can start to feel the contractions. At that point, we were almost at the 6-hour mark to like go home. But because I started contracting, they were like, "Actually, we have to keep you here for at least 2 more hours to see if you're like gonna go into labor." So they had to do a cervical check. And I fucking hate the cervical checks because it feels like they're elbow deep in you, but it's because they have to like measure your cervix, see if you're dilated. I wasn't. Or I think I was like a centimeter. Yeah, it fucking hurts. It hurt me. I don't know if it hurts everyone, but it hurt me. Even whenever I was like giving birth or in active labor and I was more dilated, shit still fucking hurt.
Are they doing it with their hand or a tool?
With their hand. So what they do is they get their little fingers lubed up, and how they measure is they're measuring something. Like I literally feel them going, and then I feel their fingers spread apart to like see how far your cervix is dilated.
How can you really know what?
I know, right? They have to be trained enough.
Like I could understand it if they inserted full fingers to be like, you are 4 fingers dilated.
Yeah.
But like to just be like I don't fucking know shit about this.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
No idea. Yeah. So they go in and I was like a centimeter dilated, but I had been a centimeter dilated for like a couple days at that point. So not enough, right? Well, because I was contracting for an hour at that point.
Also, sorry, I'm still caught up on this.
Okay.
So your cervix, so it's like the outside of your vagina, the vaginal canal, the cervix. Mm-hmm. So they have to go up through the whole vagina area.
Yes.
And to touch the cervix, which is that donut-shaped thing up here. And then that's where they, like, measure. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I know. I didn't understand that until I, like, literally was there. And I was like, oh, that's where the opening is. Like, the cervix is the opening to the uterus. Mm-hmm. And then the vaginal canal.
I was just really thinking about what are they honestly measuring?
Yeah. Because that's the thing that has to... Yeah, I know. I didn't... I was like... I just thought it was like your whole...
Yeah.
sounds...
Our public school system has failed us.
Failed us miserably. Yeah. Literally took me to have a baby to really understand my anatomy.
Yeah.
Anyways, so it's been an hour, still having contractions. And then they're like, okay, well, if you start dilating, then we may have to do a, not an emergency C-section, but an unplanned C-section. So emergency is whenever something's like terribly wrong. So like if his heart rate would have continued to drop, then they would have had to do an emergency C-section. If I would have hemorrhaged, whatever. But this would have just been an unplanned C-section. So now we're like, shit, we are going to meet him today. Like we just thought that we weren't, and we're about to go home. And all that to say, my contractions ended up going away by hour 2. So then they slapped us on the ass, sent us home. And then we were just waiting. Well, that Thursday, I had the ECV on a Wednesday. That next day, I lost my mucus plug, which is just like a step in getting to active labor. It's not like you're water breaking. Like you don't have to go in to the hospital or anything whenever you lose your mucus plug, but it's just like your body's getting ready. But also since I had an ECV, they said that that was a possibility that I would just like have some bleeding. So I just thought like, oh, I probably lost my mucus plug just because I had the ECV. Then I have an appointment the next week. I tell her how I've lost my mucus plug, tell her about the ECV, all the things. And she's like, you're doing good. You're measuring good. Like you're healthy, baby's healthy. Slapped us on our ass, sent us home. That Thursday, I started having contractions at 7:42 p.m. They say that if you have contractions for 1 hour, you're supposed to go to the hospital. I did not believe my body was having contractions because I had the ECV and my body was contracting.
Yeah.
And so I was like, maybe this is just that. Again, whatever.
Were you in denial? Or were you just like, it probably really is?
Well, it was April 9th. Or it was April 8th, technically, that day. It was Wednesday. Oh, so it was the same day of my appointment.
Okay.
I don't know. I just thought, I was like, this is too early. Like, I was 37 weeks pregnant. He was full term, technically, but I still had a couple weeks, you know, until he was supposed to be here. So I just figured it was still like my body reacting to the ECV. Don't really know. So it's 7:42 p.m. Devin and I are eating dinner. Contractions start. Still having them by like 8:40. And I even told Devin, I was like, well, in the event that this is labor, then maybe I should stop eating because I know that we're going to have a C-section and I know I can't have food. So I'm just going to eat 2 more brownies and then I'm done for the night.
You have your priorities straight.
Yeah. So the brownie was the thing that fucked me over in the end. Yeah, the brownie was the thing that fucked me over. So 8:42, I'm like, whatever, these are my last hurrahs. Then we go lay down. Finally, it gets to like 10 o'clock and I'm still having them. And they're like 3 minutes apart. But then I'd have a stint where I wouldn't have one for 10 minutes. And then it would start again. And so I just like, that's why I wasn't really sure because they weren't super, super consistent. So then by like 10 p.m., I was like, you know what? Let me just take a shower. Let me just make sure that we have everything in our hospital bag just in case if anything were to happen, whatever.
How bad are the contractions?
They're not unbearable yet. It's not until 11 p.m. Then they get pretty fucking unbearable. Luckily, our hospital, like there's a line where you can just always call somebody specifically for labor and delivery and ask them questions. Like there's a nurse on call. And so it is like 11:15 at this point, and they are like really fucking bad. Like I cannot fall asleep. It is the worst pain I've ever had in my back, more so. Not, that's what's weird about contractions is yes, you have like pain in your uterus, but the back is what fucking killed me the most. So it's like it would start in my back and then it would wrap around and then I'd feel it in my uterus. Yeah. Super strange. But the back pain was the worst. If you've ever had a period and you've had really bad cramps, that's what the uterus part feels like. But the back, man, it fucking felt like someone was stabbing me with a knife.
Really? Like sharp like that?
Mm-hmm. We finally, Devin's like, okay, I think we need to call the nurse. So we call the nurse and I tell her I've been having contractions since 7:42 p.m. Also, we have a scheduled C-section because baby's breached right now. And I think I was downplaying it a bit. I tend to do that just with my pain in general. I was doing that for whatever reason. But luckily, because Dakota was breached, she was like, honestly, like, if he wasn't breached, I would say if you think you're okay, like from a pain scale, then it's fine. But since he's breached, yeah, you need to come in because breached baby trying to have vaginally, it's possible, but it's very uncomfortable and it's just like a higher risk for mom and baby. We pack our bags, we take our hospital bag, we get everything packed up. I'm really not thinking that we're gonna have it. I'm like, they're gonna say we're fine, slap us on the ass, send us home, whatever, and then we get to sleep in our bed another day. And also, it's 11:40 at night. We are tired. We have not gone to bed yet. We get there to the emergency labor and delivery. They take us back. I'm, of course, downplaying my pain again. It's fine, whatever, just having these contractions, blah, blah, blah. They put me on the monitor. They do see that they are consistent contractions. They're like, okay, we're going to do a cervical check, but, you know, it's probably going to be okay, and you'll go home. And so they do the cervical check. I am 4 centimeters dilated. They were just like so casual, which I get it. They're so desensitized to this, you know? And so she goes in, she measures, she pulls out. She's like, okay, so we're going to go ahead and call the doctor because the last thing that you had to eat was at 8:40. We won't be able to get you back until about 4 a.m. because, you know, we got to get everything out of your system. We'll try to see if your doctor's available. And I was like, oh, so you mean like he's coming today? Like we're going to see him in a few? And she was like, oh, yeah. Like you're going to have your baby today or tomorrow technically. Because not once was she like, okay, yeah, you're going to have your, like just started talking about the next steps and again, just so desensitized to everything. I was like, oh shit, okay. And Devin's also, I think, I haven't asked him directly, but Devin is also, in my mind, thinking that we are going home that day too. Or like maybe I am in labor, but I'm not in active labor. So they're going to tell us like, go walk around, eat spicy food, you know, all the little things. So yeah, we're both a little bit in shock. And so we call our parents, we let them know. I'm having contractions the whole time. They ask if I want medicine. I say no because really the only medicine that I could have for pain was fentanyl, which isn't like the worst thing. Like if you had fentanyl to manage your pain, that's totally fine. I just know that with fentanyl, like they'll give you a low dose and then essentially like you have to build up on that dose. If he were to come or like they had to do an emergency C-section because he was coming, it can be like a tricky game of if that fentanyl has been in your system within 20 minutes of baby being born, like it can have some effects, not always, but I kept turning it down. I was like, no, like I'm fine. I took Tylenol, didn't do shit.
I was like, yeah.
Literally did nothing for that. My contractions start to get to a minute apart, and they are excruciating at this point. Because the contractions are becoming more regular, they have to come in and do more cervical checks, and those shits fucking hurt. And every time, nope, you're still at 4 centimeters, you're still at 4 centimeters, because if I would have gotten past 4 centimeters, then they would have had to do an emergency C-section, because they don't want him coming out, obviously. It is like 3:30, like I have 30 more minutes until I can get my spinal tap. And they still have not gotten a hold of my doctor yet, which, you know, obviously it was not the day that he was supposed to come out. So it would be ideal for my doctor to deliver him. But if not, like, whoever you got around here is totally fine. It's a level 4 hospital, which is like the best of the best. It gets to 3:30 and I finally cave. I'm like, okay, give me the fucking drugs. Give me the fentanyl. Like, this shit is awful. And then they also told me, since I'm in that 20-minute window, like it wouldn't wear off within that 20-minute window. So you just got to thug it out.
Oh, shit.
So I did. And then my contractions got a minute apart. And so then they're coming in and they're like checking me like every 20 minutes, because they're like, we just need you to hold on until 4 a.m. Like, just, we need your body to hold on until 4 a.m. Like, we got to stop progressing in labor. So luckily I make it to 4 a.m. They wheel me back there. I have my spinal tap. And this is where, I don't know if I've ever shared this on the podcast, but I know I've shared with you. I was terrified of childbirth of any kind, vaginal C-section. I had this huge fear that I would die during childbirth. And I feel like a lot of people think that too as well. But there were nights where I cried because I really thought that these were like my last moments on earth and I would never get to meet my baby and I wouldn't get to see him grow up and all the things. I'm glad that I had the ECV because it was damn near the exact same steps leading up to the C-section, down to the room. That's why I added the context about the room. So whenever we went in for like our unplanned C-section, it was like the same steps of the ECV. Same thing with the spinal tap, same procedure, like all of that stuff. The only difference was they wheeled us to an OR and we got a baby and then they came back, you know, but everything was the same. So that like eased my anxiety because it was more predictable. I kind of knew what to expect. Now, once they wheeled me back to the OR, I was shaking like a hoe in church.
Oh my God.
Let me tell you, like, could not control my shakes. It was so bad. Like, I had so much adrenaline. I was so scared. Whenever they took me back to the OR, my husband didn't get to come with me. For the ECV, he's with me the whole time. For the spinal tap, he couldn't. They closed the curtain to try to make it as much of a sterile environment, so he couldn't watch that. So same thing like with this, I was by myself for the spinal tap. And so it wasn't until I was like completely numb and they were pretty much like about to cut me open was whenever they let him come in. So I'm just like by myself in this OR. I've had multiple surgeries before, but I've like been knocked out for that. So it's just like scary being in an OR awake whenever you're about to be cut into. And they have you on a table and you're like this. Oh my God, my back.
Your arms?
Your arms are like in a T on this little thing, and they have one of them strapped down. I requested for one to be free, just like so I could hold him, you know, whenever he comes out and stuff.
Why is one strapped down then?
Because it's supposed to be both. I think in the event that you freak out, then because you have movement from here up, so like you can move your arms and everything, but you're paralyzed from here down. So I'm laying there. My husband comes in finally, and I'm like, oh my God, relief. Let me rewind a little bit. So I had my spinal tap, and the contractions are so fucking bad. Like, I can't even control my back whenever I'm having a contraction. It's the worst pain. So they have to do the spinal tap, like, between contractions, which they're a minute apart. So you got 60 seconds to get in. For my ECV, the person that did my spinal tap, chef's kiss. Like, literally so seamless, couldn't feel it at all in my back, like the long-ass needle. One of his team members, he did my spinal tap. He hit a nerve.
No.
And I felt that shit. It hurt so fucking bad. And so he was going in, you know, they always say, if you feel any pain, like, let us know. And so I said, oh, I feel something. And he was like, is it just like pressure? And I just said, I don't know, just keep going. Like, I couldn't say anything, but I just said, I don't know. And so they finished it, and my back is like fucked up. Like I have this weird stiff spot in my back that's never been there before, and I swear it's from my spinal tap. Yeah, spinal tap fucking hurt, but then can't feel shit. Contractions are gone. Husband comes in. My doctor says it was the quickest like C-section that he's ever done. Yeah. It was like 5 a.m. once the spinal tap kicked in. They start prepping everything. Then they cut into me. He was out of me by 5:32 a.m.
Dang.
And I was stitched up and slapped ass on the way back to recovery by like 5:45 a.m. And they said it was like the least amount of rags that they've ever had to use on someone. They had to use like 18 rags, and typically it's like 40 rags or some shit. And whenever he stitched me back up, he was like, well, your stomach's completely flat again. I was like, oh, okay,
sweet.
Cool.
Like, that's, yeah.
But that's what like the whole team was saying. They were like, wow, like that was so like fast, and Dakota like passed the little test thing like really, really easily. He is in the 67th percentile of head size, so he has a bigger noggin than most babies.
He's gonna be so smart.
So smart. And then he is in the 7th percentile for body weight and height.
So he's tiny body, big head.
Big head. Our little bobblehead baby.
Yeah.
So if you are not familiar with the C-section, they have to like take certain organs out of you to get to your uterus, and then they cut your uterus open. So I just feel them moving around, you know, don't feel like a whole lot of anything. But then whenever they go to take him out, obviously his butt comes out first, and I did feel something like get stuck, and it was his head that they were like pulling out. But then as soon as his head popped out, he was screaming. And they said that's like not super common with C-section babies. Like typically it takes them a second. But no, he was ready to be earthbound.
Yeah. He said, I came early and I'm
making it known. Yeah, making my presence known. Yeah, he was red as can be whenever he came out. He was pissed. Yeah. He was so warm inside of me. And then, I just like immediately started bawling because I'm like, okay, he's alive. Yeah. I'm alive. Like, they stitched us up, and it was great. My husband watched the whole procedure, and I thought that he was gonna, like, before this, I was like, you're gonna pass out. He's like been queasy on certain things. No. Wow. And he did not make a face the whole time, which I'm so proud of him, because that has to be intense to see someone take your partner's organs out and set them on a table and then put them back inside them.
Yeah.
And they're awake for all of it.
Yeah.
So weird.
Your organs feel like they're in the normal places?
They do.
Okay.
Which makes me feel hopeful, because I've talked to some other females who have had C-sections, and they're like, yeah, my stomach just never feels the same. And I'm like, mine feels, again, knock on wood.
Yeah.
But like mine feels pretty much how it used to before.
Good.
It was a wild ride. And then typically for a C-section, for your first kid and a C-section, they want you to stay in the hospital 2 to 4 days. But because I can't sit still and I was up and moving around, like I literally, for his 24-hour checkup thing, like I walked with them across the hospital to get him checked, and like stood there for the whole thing. So they released me after 24 hours.
Wow. And
everyone was like, what the fuck? I was like, yeah, I don't know. It was nice to be back at my house, though.
So would you do it again?
You know, if you would have asked me at 2 weeks, I said no. I am someone who said I want to have 2 children under 2 years. And by day 1, day 2, I was like, yeah, no, fuck that. Wouldn't do it. Now that we're in week 5, I'm like, I think we could do it. Maybe.
I mean, there's no pressure to, right? Since it's still fresh in your mind.
Yeah.
I feel like people later, their baby's a year or something, they're like, yeah, I would do it again. But I'm like, but it's still so fresh for you. Like, would you do it though? You know?
I will say I would have another kid.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll be in 2 years, but I will have another kid. I would do it again. And honestly, kind of hope I have another C-section.
Yeah.
Because whenever my contractions were a minute apart, I was like, fuck having a vaginal birth and feeling this and trying to push a baby out. Although, if you have an epidural, then you don't feel the contractions, really. But you still, like, you have to push. And honestly, like, a quick 20-minute in and out thing, that was great. I didn't have to do shit. I just laid there. They did all the work for me.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you did labor for a long time before that. But yes, I know what you mean.
I guess almost 12 hours.
Yeah, that's a long fucking time.
Oh, they were able to get in contact with my doctor and told me like 10 minutes before my spinal tap. They said, hey, we're able to get a hold of your doctor, he'll be here in 10 minutes.
Oh, shoot.
I was like, oh, fuck yeah. So he got there like right on time.
Nice. It worked
and
out.
I was so in the zone and scared out of my mind that he came into the OR and he said good morning. And like I heard somebody say that, but I didn't think they were talking to me. And then he came right here. He's a little goofy. He came like right here and he said, good morning. I said, oh my God, good morning. He was like, are you ready? I said,
you can't be ready, but sure.
He was like, you're in good hands. I said, well, now I did feel better that it was my doctor. I'm sure any doctor would have been fine there, but you know, familiarity. Yeah, would do it again.
I mean, overall, it seems like as good as it could have been, considering it is going to be hard.
And at first, whenever we found out that we were going to have to do a C-section, I was like a little sad because I was like, man, that kind of sucks, like not being able to deliver vaginally. Like I just had this image in my head that, you know, we're going to be laboring and like Devin's going to be wiping off my head and feeding me whenever I want food and just like screaming and like going through a whole playlist of songs. And yeah, we got one song. That was the whole birth, but I'm not as sad about it now.
I mean, I would say now that you've done a C-section, it would probably be nice to do a C-section again because like you have already done that.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to end up happening to me now, watch, but having to do a C-section and then vaginally or vice versa, like you have to do both, that would suck.
Yeah.
But like doing only vaginally or only C-section, I feel like for some reason would be better. Like you just get, you at least know the second time around what you're getting
exactly
into.
what to expect. Yeah. Oh, that's what I was saying. The ECV. So my doctor, because Dakota got stuck, my doctor, whenever he got there, he was like, yeah, I'm really curious to see like what was in the way and why he, you know, wouldn't turn. So after the procedure, my doctor goes, there was literally nothing in the way. Like he just did not want to turn.
He's like just hunkered down. He was like,
probably. Yeah. So he was like legit head up and then his little legs were up. They called it Frank breech, but then his butt was down. And whenever like he's super, super fussy, he loves to be held that way. That's like a comfort position for him now.
So the whole time he was like, I am cozy, guys.
Yeah.
Quit trying to fuck up my cozy.
Yeah.
Aw.
And then he said, and fuck y'all, I'm not turning around and y'all are going to take me out early.
Yeah.
I'm checking out this bitch early.
Yeah. I mean, birth is like terrifying.
Yeah.
For me, who hasn't had to experience it. So it's always interesting to hear people's stories that's like not filtered through some weird, like, but you should do it and it's so magical. Like, but what is it actually like?
Yeah.
You know?
Terrifying. It is truly terrifying. And I think even whenever I have our second child, I'm still going to be terrified because there's just so much like medically unknown. There, like every single birth is traumatic to an extent. Even if everything went perfectly as planned, still fucking terrifying the whole time. Especially because I guess the only unplanned thing was him just coming early. So there's just unknown no matter what. And then afterwards, you know, like postpartum, there's unknown and all of that too.
Yeah, you thought you were going to have TikTok nighttime routines.
Yep. Yeah. Thought I was going to have TikTok nighttime routines. Thought I was going to have time to edit the podcast and like do puzzles.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
Yeah. Oh,
I do remember there being a couple times where you're like, well, why won't I be able to? Like, I'm not going to be working all day. I just remembered being with Becca and being like, you know what? We had no seconds that whole weekend. Not 1 second. Like, and we weren't doing anything, but it just takes that much to like do all the little tiny things of keeping this tiny human alive. Yeah. I remember looking at her and being like, this is crazy because this is just a little freaking potato. How is it so needy? Like, how? It doesn't even do anything.
It doesn't do anything, and that's the issue.
That is the issue.
You have to do everything for it.
Yes.
And then whenever you do get 2 seconds, it's like, God, I can brush my teeth. Let me go do that. Oh, I can brush my hair. Like, it was in the early, I mean, it's still early days, but in like the early days, it was a win if I got to brush my teeth, brush my hair, and braid it. It has its days. Today was a rougher day, but even like the rough days don't feel as bad. And I'm getting used to sleeping in like 3-hour stints. Because at first it was tough. But even like last night, I'm like, oh, I got up for every single feed and I feel fine.
Are you mentally good? Are you having like major hormone shifts?
Not yet. It could be a possibility that I go through like major hormonal shifts. But I also throughout my pregnancy didn't have like major hormonal shifts. I think I had 3 like mental breakdowns where it was just like days that just felt really overwhelming, literally 3 times throughout the whole entire 9 months.
Well, shit, that's not bad because I do that once a month. So.
Yeah, like I think that's just like normal for me, even not pregnant. You know, like once a quarter, I have a good like mental breakdown, right? Mm-hmm. And so that kind of like tracks with my pregnancy too. Like I feel like my mental health really didn't shift too much. And I feel like same with this. Like I've had a mental breakdown, but again, like within reason because you have a fucking newborn. I don't know, like if I'm gonna have a major.
You don't have to. Yeah. I just was like, I've heard that your hormones are shifting so much. Sometimes you're just crying all the time and like going through it. So
physiologically, my hormones are shifting and adjusting right now because I think it's the progesterone and estrogen drop down. Progesterone is the like calming one, so I think that's the one that drops off. I would imagine that's why a lot of females experience postpartum anxiety.
That's gonna be me. I didn't know it. I have prepartum anxiety.
Yes, I think I'm desensitized. That's the word of the day today. I am desensitized to anxiety because I'm just like so anxious. But me and anxiety, we've walked alongside one another. We're homies now. We used to be nemesis, but now we're homies and we manage each other very well. So I think if I didn't have that management, I would for sure have like unmanageable postpartum anxiety. But once again, I'm using it as a superpower and not as a barrier.
Seems like you're in a good place overall.
Thanks. Catch me like last week, maybe not so much, but this week's been good.
Good.
It truly does get easier as it goes by because I like reflect back on whenever he was like a day, 2 days, 1 week old. And I was like, wow, this is never going to end. This is never going to end. And it's like we're already in a rhythm.
Yeah.
And it feels reassuring. Mm-hmm. And also I have a bomb-ass partner too. And that matters as well because since I had a C-section, he was doing everything. Like he was making sure that I was resting, that I was eating, that our baby was staying alive. Like he was primarily taking care of our son a lot whenever we first got home. And I'm so grateful for that because then my body was able to heal and rest and I would feel like guilty. And so he would reassure me and remind me all the time, like, you just had a kid and you were sliced open.
Yeah, a major
It is
surgery.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's good. I couldn't imagine people having to like come home and do it on their own or like.
Dude, that's what we say too. Like people do this by themselves all the time. Shout out.
Yeah,
to all the single parents out there. It's not for the weak.
Not for the weak. Well, I'm glad that everything went well. Now we can just get like updates.
I will insert a photo right here of our sweet Dakota.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see him grow up and be a toddler, a teenager, all the things. And hopefully we get to share that with you guys. We try to share as much of our life as we can, as we feel comfortable. I'm feeling more comfortable. Are you feeling more comfortable sharing more of your life?
Yeah. Sometimes when I'm editing things back, I realize like how
a little less comfortable.
Yeah. It's in the editing. That's when I really think about it. Yeah. And I'm like, ooh, that's weird. But it's really not. It's not the strangers. It's like the family and the friends.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason, that's worse.
Because they actually know us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I recently found out that quite a few of my family members watch this podcast.
So we have like, what, 7 listeners now?
No, I think we're up to 8.
Shit.
Yeah.
We're famous as fuck.
Famous as fuck. So hopefully, y'all get to tag along while we share more of our life and overshare and then cringe while we edit. But hey, that's what YouTube's for, right? Yep. This is Feelings and F-Bombs. You can follow us on YouTube at Feelings F-Bombs. You can also follow on anywhere you pod, Feelings and F-Bombs. I'm Madeline.
I'm Alexis.
And we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.